With now millions of Americans out of work and many of them unable to get the one-time $1,200 coronavirus stimulus check, which will, of course, be eaten up by rent, the White House is laser focused on the group that needs help the most: the investors. Wait, really? The Washington Post, citing two anonymous officials familiar with the White House discussions, reported late on Sunday that the Trump administration is now weighing a payroll tax cut, a capital gains tax cut, and creating 50-year treasury bonds to lock in low interest rates, and a waiver that would clear businesses of liability from employees who contract coronavirus while on the job. Oh, they must be absolutely thrilled. Hey, employers that didn't prioritize your employee safety over your bottom line, causing many people to get sick. Well, don't worry. We got you. We'll take care of you. I mean, this is absolutely gross. Now, New York Magazine's Eric Levitt tweeted this in response to it. Won't somebody please think of the employers who want to coerce their employees into accepting life-threatening workplace conditions without facing legal liability? Yay. Awesome. So that's fantastic. But understand, this is the way, and it's the worst way, right? That Donald Trump and the Republicans are going to bring the country back to work. I mean, so you've heard them talk about this, right? We got to get the country back to work. The cure can't be worse than the disease. We've got to make sure to do everything so the economy doesn't crash. I know. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to make people go back to work and then make companies not liable for people who get coronavirus and die. I mean, it's a perfect solution. We get our economy going. We get our numbers back up. Our corporations start to make money again. And, if people die, well, it's a sad day for them. Sad day for them. So that is, of course, evil. You were literally killing your workplace. I mean, what other word is there other than evil? Now, aside from that horrible provision, which, again, is the worst thing in this, the rest of it, of course, is wealth care. The rest of those ideas have been introduced before and, of course, benefit directly the wealthy. Okay? So now, last year, for example, Trump floated the idea of bypassing Congress to index capital gains to inflation. The Center on Budget Policy and Priorities estimated in a 2018 analysis that 86% of the benefits of indexing capital gains to inflation would, of course, go to the top 1%. The reaction, of course, to these ideas is about what you would expect. HuffPost senior reporter Zach Carter says a capital gains tax cut would be smash and grab economics with no value to the economic and medical calamity facing us. Yes, but it would help the billionaires. That would be great for them. Journalist John Walker called the Trump administration's reported proposals, quote, the worst possible set of ideas for dealing with a pandemic. Wait, are you saying giving giant corporate tax cuts or tax cuts to investors would be bad during a pandemic? Well, it certainly wouldn't help the situation. And of course, Walker wrote, for the entire bill, or the entire set of proposals, we are beyond parity at this point, making it easier for people to get sick at work, rewarding people for going into work at this point, which doesn't make any sense, rewarding vulture capitalists profiting off a crisis. Yes, that is a parity, but welcome to American capitalism, right? So the sick thing here is that the Federal Reserve has been giving the banks about $1 trillion a day, right? Well, we got to make sure the banks don't fail. Now, big corporations also have been getting their money, right, through this $2 trillion stimulus bill, right? Small businesses, however, they've been having a very difficult time getting their small business assistance, that the part of that $2 trillion coronavirus relief bill. They actually have to go through a lot of hoops in order to get that. The same, of course, can be said about workers and the unemployed. For example, unemployment in Florida, I mean, it's a complete disaster. I talked about that, and it's not just Florida. It's in a lot of different places. In fact, the Washington Post reported on Sunday that the law's provision to boost unemployment benefits has become tangled in dated and overwhelming state bureaucracies as an unprecedented avalanche of jobless Americans seek aid. And the reason that I point at Florida specifically is because Republicans set that up to fail. And shockingly, or not shockingly, it has failed. I mean, you've got hundreds of thousands of people that are trying to navigate a system that was designed to deny them benefits and not work. But hey, look, let's look at more tax cuts, right? As for the $1,200 coronavirus checks, nobody knows when we're supposed to get those. I know the administration says, well, we're going to send them out on the 13th, and then we're going to send them out to people's, in waves to people's bank accounts. But if you don't have a bank account, then we're going to wait till May to start cutting checks. And those checks might not be here till September. And so that's a complete and utter disaster as well. One more thing, too, by the way. The other idea, as I mentioned, was a payroll tax cut, right? So we're doing a payroll tax cut. Well, that's a stealth tax cut, it's a stealth attack on Social Security. Not only that, but I mean, yes, if you're an essential worker and you're still actually lucky enough to be working, right? Well, that does help you, but doesn't help regular people. Doesn't help the people who've been laid off right now. And so, I mean, there's a whole lot of problems going on. It's full of terrible ideas. But what do you expect from President Trump and his rich friends? They're not interested in helping regular American workers survive this so that they can then later on go back to work. No, all they're worried about is their rich friends and their donors. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.